Shout it, very good. Orange. Right, Ben. Orange. Okay, then. Orange.
History and part of the club.
Yeah, totally. You're right, and obviously. Consider the inconsistency in team selection still.
Now, listen, I fancy a day trip to Alton Towers, Matt. Do you fancy coming along?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go on a trip, mate.
Let's go on a trip, mate. So what we'll do is we'll just head up to Alton Towers. We'll get through the queue. We'll pay our fee. We'll go in and we'll go up to the height measurement. We'll make sure we can get in. You know, me and you will get in. Still will be under the height regime, so you won't be able to be allowed in. And then we'll just go buy some tickets. And I want to go on that bad boy roller coaster, Matt. That roller coaster that is West Ham. Welcome to the roller coaster ride of transfer news updates. Now, listen, this is only going to be a quick kind of opinionated chat show between myself and Matt. Still, later on in his weekly, he's going to go into a hell of a lot more detail on the players. But loads of things are coming out today. So let's just get right in amongst it. There's a new player out of the blue linked to West Ham today. Tell me his name and tell me how you started to hear, without naming names, how you started to hear this story coming out.
So it wasn't. Well, I suppose first of all, we should go. There was the rumours of some like Juventus left back, which started and shut down within hours, and then after that finished, all of a sudden, Tagliafco come on like the radar. 28-year-old left back from Ajax, very successful, done well both domestically and internationally, and the thing is, it didn't break anywhere on the English side, which is why it's a bit. You know, everyone knows you read a lot of gossip, a lot of transfer rumours, a lot of news, and it comes from the usual sources in the British media. And you go, yeah, they're just doing it for clicks. They're doing it for clicks, or they've reran the old story. They ran a story from last year. Whereas this has literally come entirely out of the blue from the Telegraph in Holland. Who are actually very reliable, unsurprisingly, when it comes to news out of Holland, in particular Ajax. The individual journalist who broke the news was the journalist who broke the news last year or the year before of when Donny van der Beek was going to Man United. He's almost always spot on with his news. And he reported that we've, in principle, agreed a fee of 12 million euros. I believe it was euros. He said it would be a difficult deal to do because the players in Venezuela are on international duty for Argentina. The agent is in Holland. They rejected our first offer, but they're waiting for the second offer. Other ITKs have come out this afternoon and said the club don't know where this news has come from. The club are very surprised by the news.
Yeah.
Now, it is a game of, at the moment, as with all transfer rumours, it is a game of he said, she said. But we've been banging on for a while now that we want we do these videos on these news, but we want them to stop.
Yeah.
Invariably, we want a lot of it to stop. And this is one of them that it feels like it wasn't leaked. It hasn't got out. So then, are the sources not knowing what's going on? You wouldn't. And the thing is since it's come out and these ITK have said, no, it's not, the people in Holland, the journalists in Holland for the Danish Telegraph, the ones that believe it, are still saying the deal's ongoing. And we're very upset that he's going. He's a terrific player. He's been a great servant for Ajax. And, you know, it's a shame that he's going, but he's been a good servant. They're going to let him go. So you don't know who to believe. At the moment, we've got two quote-unquote reliable ITKs butting heads. The deal's fake. The deal's going on.
Yeah. Now, listen, we're hearing things, you know, we don't plan to be an ITK. We don't want to be ITKs, nothing like that. Information finds its way around and we find some stuff and we're hearing that the club are potentially denying this deal. However, I think if you start to look further into the deal, like Matt has said, the potential deal, the source it's come from seems like a good source out in Holland. However, let's take the following into consideration. Deadline day is tomorrow. We need to sign a player. Deadline day by tomorrow at the time limit that we are, that we're held to. The player currently is in where? Venezuela?
Yes.
So complete the medical, it's not happening.
Well, you say that, but Zuma done his medical in Paris.
But that's Paris.
And if he's he's in Venezuela on international duty for Argentina.
Yeah.
So if the club wanted the deal to be done, they could very invariably have Argentina's medical team for their squad do it and send the medical papers back to London like they did to Zuma. The deal is doable.
But let's then look at the following thing. I mean, let's look at another thing. He's 28. He's going to be 29. There you go. Tomorrow. 29 tomorrow. It doesn't really meet the remit of what Moyes is looking for. And this is why I start to discredit this personally, in my own personal opinion. I can discredit this one, based upon, everything that adds up. It kind of goes against what Moyes is looking for. And it does feel a little bit, if he has tracked this lad, why would you wait till he's on international duty in Venezuela to try and get a deal done for him? That's why I just don't know where I'm at with it, Matt.
You know what? It does make... How long ago did Masuaku get injured? And he's been back in training.
Yeah.
He's been back in training now since the start of pre-season. And they haven't risked him beyond the under-23 game.
And we said that, though, when he got injured. Remember, we said it would be out. He would be out for a long time when they announced that.
And they're slightly worried. It sounds like they're worried about this knee injury, and they don't want to rush it, want to do precautions about it. So I can see the links of a left-back. We've said for years we need a left-back. It's weird timing, but we've known all along that Zuma Moyes wanted to get a centre-back in. And once he got the centre-back in, other things would fall into place.
Yeah.
So... Moyes, if a deal was there and Moyes wants the player, this is the thing, if Moyes wants the player and a deal was there, it might have happened.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I can't remember, is it Pellegrini, not obviously the manager, the left back Juventus? There was links this morning that we had a loan to buy deal accepted? And then Juventus saw the player this morning turn it down. So if that rumour was true and that was linking for a left back, we know Moyes' way of thinking. He has a list of priority positions, and each one he has a list of targets.
Yeah.
So there is some plausibility that if we went for a left back, he's trying to push a deal through quickly. Right, go for him. He said no, go for him. The problem is, it's just rumours. Like, I'm not going to get hung up on it. Personally, it would be a terrific signing if we got it in. I mean, the only thing I could think of is that maybe Ajax owe us some money still. That's the only way I could think of somehow this deal does emerge. I'm not sure. But you know what? It's sort of nice to get excited about, but it's a West Ham, so until they're in the shirt, you don't believe anything.
I'm muted. I've just realised I'm muted. Absolutely, mate. Yeah, until they're in the shirt, we can't really believe anything that's going around. And this is the thing. The inside scoop has changed, and it's good, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the fact that inside scoop's changed. We don't get the news. Nobody really does know what's going on. I just try and build an opinion based upon the facts that are out there. 28, going to be 29 tomorrow. He's in Venezuela. Yes, it can be done. Yeah, of course it can. But I just can't see that deal potentially being done. And as Epic Hashtime is saying, the guy who broke the Tagliafco news is Ajax's mouthpiece. Ajax fans say he's 100% right. So who knows? Who knows this kind of time coming tomorrow that whether or not this guy will come through the door. I don't think he will. So I'm going to put a rating on it, Matt. The rating for me is going to be a big old 2.
Or do you out of 10?
Yeah.
I'd go in the middle. I'll give it a 5.
Right.
I think it's plausible. However, they even says in the article there's issues to be done, and the fact that we've got 2 reliable ITKs butting heads, one saying yes, one saying no, I'm going to leave it at 5 straight in the middle. Yeah. For now.
What we do know about him is he's a progressive left back. He likes to play as a kind of wing back, left back, you could call him. He likes to get forward. He likes to charge at the opposition. He's played with Argentina at international level, over 30 appearances for them, not scoring a goal. He's got over 90 appearances with Ajax, scoring 7 goals. He's got Champions League experience, so he's got European experience.
I think he's played 36 games for Argentina.
Yeah, and he's won the Copa America, of course, which he just won. He was featured heavily in that. He's a decent defender as well, but it plays into the hands of he's the kind of defender that Moyes is probably looking at, a player that can play in a, potentially push Creswell into the like you said
back
earlier
five.
on in the chat, the back five, play him out on the left and attack up the left. People are making valid points though. How old is Sufal? I don't actually know.
28?
Yeah, so you never know, but it's a good point, Glenn, but I just worry at the fact that the lad is in Venezuela, and I know what Matt's saying. I know it's a potential thing that can get done. However, we'll have to wait and see. Make sure you join us tomorrow for our transfer deadline day show.
What is it? 5 to 6. So we got 11 o'clock tomorrow? 29 hours of deadline day left.
29 hours of deadline.
29 hours. Yeah. So it's doable if they want it done. It's a push, but it's it would be a very exciting deal if we got it done.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. It's if. It's an if. And you know what? It's good. We don't know because Moyes has shut this down and it's made it very hard to do. Because not being funny, if this deal's real for 12 million euros, there will be plenty of teams out there trying to get him. So I could imagine the club would want to try and keep it under wraps as long as possible. But who knows? Yeah. We don't. We certainly don't.
No, we certainly don't. But make sure you do tune in later on to our own ITK. His name is Stel. He's going to take you on this roller coaster ride. He's probably the main attraction. He charges a fortune to get in, and you're going to have a thrill, the thrill of your life. You're going to be up, down, round in circles, spewing everywhere, shouting, screaming, you name it. Just join Stel tonight. God knows what time he's going on at. So just make sure you keep an eye on the channel. You'll get notified. He'll go in depth about these players, etc. Next up is the rumour that came out yesterday about Vlasic, who plays at CSKA Moscow, Croatian midfielder. According to loads of reports, we've agreed a fee and we're trying to get a medical over the line.
He is, I don't know how long ago this was. He's either on the plane or he might be off the plane by now. There was a quote from the Croatia manager that he was on the plane.
Right.
He was on the plane. But it's funny because in the actual quote, he also said that he thought he should have gone higher.
Yeah.
He thought that he should have gone for a team higher than West Ham. But the quote I can see from about 3 o'clock this afternoon. I don't know how long the flight is from Russia to London. I'm sure it's probably up 5-6 hours or something. I don't know. So he might be on a plane on his way over. He might be here already.
And this is let's take a little look at the guy. He's got a contract until 2024, valued at 25 million. He's 23 years old, an attacking midfielder, creative midfielder, creative talent, aggressive, strong player. Has outgrown demands of the Russian league and moved to the Premier League. Maybe the challenge he now needs. He's got 34 appearances under his belt in last season with CSKA Moscow and scored 12 goals and 6 assists. So he's been at Everton before in his past. Matt, 2 years he spent at Everton, 12 games. I don't think he really set the world alight there, but that doesn't mean players don't evolve and change and become better.
The funny thing is that the Everton fans that I know that I've spoken to on Twitter were actually very high praising of him. They said he played about 2 or 3 games. I think it was under Ronald Koeman. He played 2 or 3 games at centre attacking mid, and he looked very good. And then the rest of the time they used him, they played in the cup games in Europe out on the left wing as an 18-year-old still learning his trade, and he didn't do very well.
Yeah.
So, it's not just that. I think if you go back for the last 3 or 4 years, he's averaged 20 goals and assists combined a season for the last 3 years. Picked up the Russian Player of the Season last season. He fits. Here we go. So 18-19. He played 31 games, had 8 goals and 7 assists. 2019-2020, he played 38 games, 13 goals, 7 assists. Last season, he had 34 games, 12 goals, 6 assists. Yeah. So his output per game, he's almost creating a goal every other game, goal and a goal or assist. And he fits the mould Moyes wants, from what I've read about his ability on the ball. He carries the ball up the pitch, something we sometimes lack. He likes the ball at his feet. It does look, on all accounts, that he is very much like the plan B for Lingard. He does look like he is a Lingard player. And if Moyes wants him, we have to back him. Like, the only transfer I would say the entire time Moyes has been West Ham manager he got wrong was Jordan Hugo.
Yeah.
And that, I believe that was him panicking, thinking we were going to get relegated and he wanted the Championship centre forward. Apart from that, every single transfer he's made has been right. So if he thinks that this guy's good enough to come in, we back the manager.
Yeah, yep. Absolutely, mate, yeah. What do you all think about the Vlasic potential deal happening? I mean, we could be getting an announcement if he does come and complete his medical. We're understanding that he's on his way to try and come and complete his medical. However, what I do love about this is there is smoke, there are mirrors, and it's all up all over the place. And West Ham fans and West Ham media and West Ham ITKs are all over the shop. And between now and tomorrow, I can envisage lots more players being coming to the club.
Honestly, including Vlasic, I could honestly say that, you know what, if I said this 3 days ago, before we got Zoomer in, I'd be like, you know what, we're getting no one in. No one's coming through. The way that it's now developed at the last minute in the window, it looks like we could get like 3 players in, including Vlasic, like Vlasic and another 2 players. Yeah. Which, you know what, doesn't surprise me in the slightest. It doesn't, because Sullivan likes pushing it to the end to get the best deal he can, because teams at the end of the window, if they're trying to offload a player, you may get them for 3, 4, 5 million less. I've seen Man United fans on Twitter today. Some of them are just outright moaning that we spent 30 million on Zuma and 30 million on Vlasic, but we won't pay 30 million for Lingard. But I've also seen the other side of the Man United fans that are like, we hate West Ham's owners because we know exactly what they're doing. We're like, they're going to wait until 7 o'clock tomorrow evening when there's 4 hours on the window left, and they'll offer 15 million for him. Yeah. And Man United either take the 15 million or he leaves on a free in January and we can sign him next summer for nothing. Yeah, it's very Sullivan. It's annoying, and it leaves us this emotional window of 2 months where everything gets crammed into a week at the end. But it's Sullivan doing his usual weird transfer business.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is interesting. It's good. You know what? Like, it wouldn't be becoming a West Ham fan, like you said. I think in the other stream the other day. 1 minute we know all the news, the next minute we don't know all the news, but there's still so much to report because, and this time, we literally have no idea, and this is what I think Moyes has done to the club. He's shut up shop, and we really don't know what is going on behind the scenes. 1 minute, and people are laughing in the chat saying, we've heard that for you at Canary Wharf, mate, completing your medical. Let us know if you are. Canary Wharf has become the kind of the main fate of where everything's going to be happening.
Do we still own a couple of flats in Canary Wharf?
Yeah, I think we do, yeah.
Which is why a lot of it, especially the foreign players, internationally, they end up there. Because it's just, that's why everyone says, oh, they're in Canary Wharf. It's like, are they? Are they really?
Yeah.
So absolutely. I think Vlasic is like 90, I would say it's 95% done. Right? The guy doesn't have an injury record, so Sullivan can't start tooting about the injury record. The fee's agreed. Invariably, he's agreed a contract already. I can imagine it's quite easy to give him bigger wages coming from Russia. I can't imagine there's big wages out there. And the Croatian manager himself has said he's on the plane to West Ham, but he should be going for a bigger team. Yeah. So I'd say that one's 95% done. Everything else, though, is a crapshoot. It's a roll of the dice. So you've got Tagliafco, you've got Lingard.
I mean, according to some places, he's on about just 30k a week in Moscow.
So you could give him 60 and he'd be happy, and that's still not pocket change, but that's not big. That's not a big outlay for a Premier League team. 60k a week. Yeah. Obviously, for anyone else, 60k a week could be absolutely huge money in an normal job. But in Premier League footballers' money, it used to be 30 to 40k a week. Used to be average Premier League money, but I'm pretty sure it's up to about the way that the Premier League wages are just continuing to skyrocket, and at some point there's going to be a crash. But at the moment, 50 to 60k a week seems to be like not average for the lesser players, but for like a good player, it's like average money 50 to 60k a week. So
yeah, absolutely. So we move on then. I mean, we said it's going to be a kind of short and sweet show, just giving you a brief update on some of these players, etc., and we'll come into the chat. But let's get on to the probably the main target, from what we understand, for the whole of the summer, since the moment he left the club after completing his loan move last season, and his name is Jesse Lingard. And in the last half an hour to an hour, we're hearing reports coming out of Manchester United saying Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is happy for Lingard to stay at the club and fight for his place. But there's key elements here. He's happy for Lingard to stay at the club, but that doesn't mean he's going to stay at the club. He hasn't said Jesse Lingard is staying at the club, but he's happy for him to come and stay and fight for his place. Now, Jesse Lingard is at St James's Park with the England squad on international duty, training for England, of course. Stories are breaking, and I mean, I don't really know how these stories break, to be honest with you, Matt. Moyes is going to go and meet Lingard after the game yesterday. I mean, come on.
Well, apparently he's still because I would make the logical assumption that he probably didn't buy the flat he lived in London, right?
Yeah.
He probably rented it for a year. So he's probably still got like 4 or 5 months left on the rent of that flat. So if he did want to meet Moyes, it wouldn't have been inconceivable. Because don't forget, that flat's in the same building that Moyes lives in, right?
Yeah.
They both got flats in the same building. So if he did want to, he could just quite easily just say, I've left some stuff in my London flat. I'm going to go some stuff there to get some stuff for England training. Yeah. And, look, I walked past the gaffer in the elevator. Like, it's not inconceivable. It does seem weird. But you know what? Moyes is probably trying every trick in the book to get in. Yeah. So it's also a statement. It was also a bit double-edged sword. I'll have him. I'm happy to have him in the squad. It's like, I'm happy to have him, but he didn't say he wouldn't be happy if he left either. He's just like, if he's part of my squad, then yeah, great.
Yeah.
I do wonder if it eventually comes down tomorrow, as we tick the deadline, that the decision gets taken out of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's hands.
Yeah.
Because essentially he is a manager. Players don't like this, and it's managers don't always have the final say. Like Moyes, Sullivan, and Moyes is getting towards it. But at the end of the day, if Sullivan doesn't want someone, like we saw with all the problems with Zuma, and it took like Moyes putting his foot down, say no, get me the player, I want him, and then Sullivan came and gave it to him. So if we came back tomorrow with an offer of 15 million, 4 million up front and 11 million over 3 years or something, the Man United owners will have to sit down and weigh up the fact that do they want this money or do they want to watch him go for free in January? They may just tell Solskjaer, sorry, West Ham have offered the money. You know what? Everton have been linked with him. They might go, Everton have offered the money.
Yeah.
So you either sell him or you're going to lose out on that money. It's restricted. Because look, let's be honest, right? He's only got in that England squad as an apology. It sounds mean to say he's in that England squad because of an apology from Southgate. Because he should have took him to the World Cup. Sorry, the Euros. He should have took him to the Euros. Instead, he took an extra. Was it Ben White? He took instead when the extra spot came up. He took Ben White, who didn't play a single minute. He played in the 2 warm-up games. Ben White didn't play a single minute in the tournament. As much as that, what Carl Walker became the third right centre back in the back 5. So there's no way if he keeps playing 3-4 minutes a game, he will make the England squad. He just won't.
Yeah. Yep.
So if he wants to play for England, he's going to have to move.
Craig is saying, I feel that we'll make an offer for Lingard tomorrow. Gaza's saying Ole is playing games. It's a no-brainer. I think he is. Henry makes a most valid point here that I've probably heard all night. How would anyone know that Moyes was going to meet Lingard? Unless they physically saw him, nobody will know. I mean, that's
the rumour, isn't it? That is just...
It's
the rumour.
Absolutely. Folks, so that's all right. Anton only likes thighs. He doesn't care about limits, to be fair. Dan, the trouble with Lingard is that the fee Man United wants to highlight, he can be signed for nothing in 4 months to get started next summer. Time to move on. I can't commit to that, Dan, because I don't know if that's genuinely going to happen. No, I think West Ham are going to be wanting to bring Lingard in, and it's going to go to the wire.
I sort of do agree with Dan. He's not worth. I'm sorry, a 29-year-old with 10 months left on his contract. Is it 10 months? About that. He's not worth 25 million.
But But the point I was trying to make is, well, like you said, will there be an offer made that will just make the club go, do you know what? Let me recoup some of the money and invest that elsewhere, because he's going to be. We all know Lingard's going to be sitting on the bench. There was a prime example at the weekend. Let alone bringing in Ronaldo to these circumstances.
I don't think he played at all at the weekend.
Yeah,
I don't think he even came off the bench. So I think he's played like 5 minutes this month. In the first 2 games, he played like 5 minutes. Yeah. So he said he wanted to stay, didn't he, at the start of the season? At the start of the season, he said, I want to stay, I want to fight for my place. Well, there's your place. It's 5 minutes on the bench before Ronaldo comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go through the comments. Guys are saying it'll go to the wire. Gary's saying forget Lingard. If he wanted to join us, he would have by now. Sharky is saying any of our younger players going out on loan. You'll probably see a whole host of players go out tomorrow. I think you'll probably see about 2 or 3 loaning
I did see a rumour about, how do you pronounce it? Jews? And Silver both being sold. The club are trying to offload them.
But we'll listen, push that one onto the weekly. Still, we'll go through all that sort of stuff with you on the weekly. But Luke is saying, bored of the Lingard signing now, respect him for staying with United, but we move on. Luke is saying, Lingard has no choice. Good luck to him if he stays at United. Where are we here? Because there's so many comments. I'm gonna try my best to jump through them and then close off the show if I can. James is talking about doing the washing up. Southgate, probably a right back. Don't really know what you're talking about. Loan to January with a right to buy for 10 million. Lingard, I reckon. You never know. Could happen. Victor Fenn, Moyes as a transfer budget, he can spend how he wants. Absolutely. Will Bowen go to Liverpool? No, he will not. We'll free up some more cash for a striker. It will not happen. Lingard signs, then no striker. I don't think we're going to sign a striker unless there's someone else there in the back burner that he's working his way on and getting the deals through.
I've seen 2 names today. That's it. So, is that Moyes' names or not? I don't know. There's Gaetan Laborde still, Montpellier.
Yep. We're
in the list of like 4 teams for him. And I randomly saw today Rondon.
Well, I'll let Stell talk about Rondon. That's not one of the players we were going to talk about today either. What is this here? Dan is saying Lingard shouldn't even be part of the setup. How has Greenwood missed out with 3 and 3 and far more minutes played? Barley Moyes can't have publicly meet to discuss unless the clubs have agreed a fee. Completely. Yep. Dave's banter, crazy rumour mill. Mark Alexander, Arsenal for money around pure desperation. Love it. Gary Wellington is saying we should focus on getting a striker. That should be a top priority. You know, the funny thing is, we couldn't sit here and say that we're still not interested in a striker. We're putting 2 and 2 together, working out that Moyes is looking for the attacking midfielders that can play that false 9 position. You're hearing rumours about Sima potentially off to Brighton. But if Sima is in the country, there's absolutely nothing to say because West Ham were interested in him in the past. And if there is a price cut deal to be had, if there is an attitude problem that you're hearing rumours from this club out in Czech that he's a bit lazy. Moyes may, I'm not saying he will, but he may enter a conversation because you're talking about a player that was rumoured to be about 20 plus million pounds a few months ago, last in the winter, and now could be valued at about 8 million pounds. I'm literally throwing random names out there because that's probably what will happen tomorrow.
That's what all the media are doing. That's what I said. Most of the time, that's what you get.
I mean, look, I love this. I love it. My contact, Chelmsford City tea lady, says Tagliafco deal is on. Honestly, can you bring her on, mate, please? We can't sign him on a pre-contract in January. We're not a foreign club. Good point. Jesse Moyes and Vlasic.
Officially, no. You can't officially do it. But you can put the contract in front of him and say, this is what you'll get.
Look at this. I mean, Jesse Moyes, Vlasic, we're seeing in Canary Wharf at the KFC drive-thru this evening. If Moyes met up with Lingard, wouldn't that be tapping up? Absolutely. That's why
I said it's a bit, because they live in the same building, it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Like, if they live in the same building, they cross paths in the lift. Yeah. There's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah. James is saying, I have heard that Stell's completed his medical and should be revealed tonight on the West Ham network. Absolutely. We can get Lampard cheap in January anyway, so I don't care if they don't want to sell. Lingard, 10 goals from attacking midfield. Glenn Marshall, £7 million for Sima as a bargain. Split is saying Vlasic confirmed. Sancho was terrible yesterday. Can't tell he's better than Lingard. I can't make judging a player on one game. It's not, you know. We should bid 10 million is stealing from Brighton. That's from Jordan. Mark Alexander, Moyes wants Inesri. He couldn't get him. Said he wouldn't buy just anyone. So maybe there is no striker he fancies. So change an approach of plan. Absolutely. I do agree with that 100%. Gary, Kiefer Moore, old-fashioned striker from Cardiff, 22 goals plus Wales goals for Wales. 10 million would get him. Cyber, anyone got me a fit? Dalek, what are you on about? The day's banter. Moyes has all the leaks blocked. It's all random names circulating by supporters. Couldn't agree with you anymore, mate. Sima is better. Amanda G said Sima doesn't make sense because purely Slavia Prague would have contacted us and not Brighton if there was a massive price drop. Gaza, what striker's going to come and sit on the bench? I mean, they're all going to get some game time. You know, they are this year.
That's the thing. Like, whoever we bring in is going to get game time. We've got 4 competitions to play in. We've got 6 games in Europe, and actually, we've probably got more than that now because we've got a relatively nice draw. So you're probably talking 8 games. Even if you get a couple of games in each run in the cup, 3 games each.
Yeah,
you're looking at 14 games plus the league. You're looking at 50 games, at least 50 games. Antonio averages 25 games a season. The centre forward that comes in is still going to play 25 games a season, plus coming off the bench the other games. Like, if we brought someone in, they get the game time.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are watching, though, go and hit the thumbs up. It really does help our channel out. Please go and hit those thumbs up. There's a little button down there. If you're not enjoying the show, hit the thumbs down. That's just what you got to do. That's what you got to do. If you are new around here, go and hit the subscribe button. Bring our subscribers up. We're going to on the march for 10,000 before the end of the year. Do Ajax owe us money regarding Tagliafco? Any news on Phil Jones yet?
I laughing at the bottom. I laughed at the in comment. You know what? Honestly, they knackered themselves with Phil Jones. He was out of contract about 2 years ago. And his contract ran out, Phil Jones, and they gave him a new contract on more money, right? Yeah. He's on more money now than we're paying Zuma. They're not going to be able to offload him. Like, we got no chance of signing him. Like, no, Zuma's in now, but the money he's on about 130 grand a week at Man United.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting one. Like I said, if you are watching, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you are keen on becoming a channel member, you can click the link I'm going to put in the chat just now. That will take you through all the tiers that we run at West Ham Network, and it will explain to you what you can get, value for your money, all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. Matt, there's a couple of more comments at the end. Do you want to jump them up?
I'll try to see where I was. Right, what we got? Why would Jesse leave the Man United bench, West Ham bench? He wouldn't. I don't think he. We were talking about this the other night, weren't we? We said he wouldn't be coming in to be a bench player because we've got so many competitions. If you go back to the weekend, right? We had 2 options to come off the bench: Lanzini and Yarmolenko. Now Moyes hasn't done any rotation yet whatsoever, especially attacking wise, because we don't have any options. We don't have any attacking options. So it's not about being on the bench, it's about rotation and resting players. We covered this the other night, didn't we? When we said we've got 7 games in 23 days in September, something similar in October, something similar again in November. So there is stretches of like 3 weeks apiece in October, November, December, where we're playing 3 games a week. So at which point everyone is going to get game time. You know, he could be at Man United and he still wouldn't see the game time. You know, if you're thinking, they've still got Rashford to come back and they've got Ronaldo to come in. And he couldn't even, before those 2 have come in, he's not getting game time.
Yeah. Lucas saying, fans' transfer arguments don't make sense. Laugh out loud, we go after players and people mourn how they're going to get, yet we don't buy anyone and we're fools. Because our bench will play Moyes, trust that. Yeah, Lucas saying, makes you laugh. Can I get a job with Man United, Matt? Kenny's saying, I saw he was linked with Lacazette. I don't think that's going to be the last player we're going to be linked with. No, but that's not going to be the last player we're going to be linked with.
Oh, absolutely not. But
absolutely not.
If we gave a scale on Lacazette, I'd give it a 0. Right?
Yeah.
No, he's on 190 grand a week. 190 grand a week he's getting, as Arsenal's at the moment second choice striker. Like, we're not going to pay that probably to anyone. Like, I don't think we pay Declan Rice 190 grand a week. So we're certainly not going to pay someone who's going to be a rotational first choice striker 190 grand a week.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Here's the link if you want to become a member of the channel. Just go check it out there in the chat. So go and check it out. All you need to do is just click that link. That takes you to the tier process. Listen, that brings an end to our daily. It was short and sweet. It just covers 3 players. Make sure you tune in later on to Stell's West Ham Weekly. I do not have the time for his West Ham Weekly. My phone's died. I've not had a chance to charge it. I need to charge it, so I don't have a clue what's going on. And please make sure that you do check out the weekly later on. And then we'll be back tomorrow, of course, with Rush's mid-afternoon show. And then we'll be having a live transfer show tomorrow. So we'll be having guests coming on. And we'll give you any of the breaking news throughout the day. I think we're going to try our best to start and try and start the stream about 5 o'clock-ish. So we'll keep an eye on it. Anyway, Matt, any last words before we go?
just get ready for that roller coaster ride tomorrow, guys. Sullivan loves the deadline day shenanigans, so
He does.
who knows what's going to happen.
He does, mate. He does. Listen, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you on the West Ham Weekly on the West Ham Network. Subscribe, comment, and like. Come on, you iron.